Hello everyone, welcome to your weekly forecast for Monday, November 15th through Sunday, November 21st. So I would like to start off by thanking all my subscribers who continue to support me. I really appreciate it. If this is your first time to visit my channel, you might consider subscribing and liking and sharing this video. It would really help. I'm trying to get my channel to grow a little bit more. Right? And check out my Ask Me a Question in the description box below. There's a link to, there's also a link to my website if you would actually like to have your chart done. And you guys have to remember, this is just a general reading, okay? So if you wanted something more specific, you have to, get your chart done, right? But the Ask Me a Question is for people who just only need to know one thing, one or two things they're curious about, and they don't want their entire chart done, okay? And also check out my monthly forecast. Okay, so there's an aspect, major aspect, every day this week. So this is going to be kind of long, and I'm going to try not to spend too much time on one aspect, okay? But on Monday, the 15th, the Sun in Scorpio squares Jupiter in Aquarius. On Tuesday, the 16th, the Sun in Scorpio sextiles Pluto in Capricorn. On Wednesday, the 17th, Mars in Scorpio opposes Uranus in Taurus. Now, that's a real doozy, that one coming up, okay? And on Thursday, November 18th, Mercury in Scorpio trines Neptune in Pisces. On Friday, November 19th, yeah. Let's see here. Venus in Capricorn trines Uranus in Taurus. On Saturday the 20th, Mercury in Scorpio squares Jupiter in Aquarius. And on Sunday the 21st, Mercury in Scorpio sextiles Pluto in Capricorn. So I'm going to combine some of these together because it's aspects to the same planet but just from two different planets, okay? So we'll go with Aries. Okay, so for Aries on Monday, November 15th, the Sun in Scorpio in your 8th house squares Jupiter transiting in your 11th house of Aquarius. And on Saturday, the same aspect occurs, but it's from Mercury. Okay, Mercury in Scorpio in your 8th house also squares that Jupiter in Aquarius. So it looks like something, whatever starts off on Monday and ends up on Saturday. But what it's concerning, again, this has happened many times already, okay, with squares to Saturn recently. But your 8th house is a money house. It's shared resources, shared debt. It's money coming to you through means other than earning it. It's prize money, winnings of some kind, even a legal settlement or insurance payout or a loan from a bank or some kind of increase in credit, but it's a money house. So your 11th house, where you have Jupiter and Saturn both transiting in Aquarius, is like your most sociable house. So with these planets here just in transiting, you've probably expanded your circle of friends somewhere along the way and possibly cut one of them out or got rid of somebody who was kind of a pain in the ass in your group. Okay, 11th house is also organizations that you belong to. So it could even be somewhere in an organization that you got rid of somebody or have a new member. But it looks like, you might be asked to do something with your friends. It could be something go see a live band or something or other, but it looks like whatever it is, though, is going to cost money, so you're going to think about it. You could even be being asked to join some kind of really selective kind of group, okay? And maybe they've been courting you for a while, but they would like you to join. But there's also initiation fees or something, or dues of some kind that you have to pay up front. Or it's to join some kind of club, So you really have to think about it. Do you really want to spend the money? Because by the time Saturday rolls around, somebody's going to probably ask you about it again. Say, hey, did you think about what we asked you? you know, did you want to come with us to this thing? You know, maybe you're going to travel out of town to, I don't know, to see a band or something, or do something or other. And maybe you just said, I'll get back to you on that, you know. So, well, on Saturday, I think somebody has to know by then. Okay, so like on Tuesday, November 16th, the Sun in Scorpio in your 8th house sextiles Pluto, transiting in your 10th house of Capricorn. And on Sunday, Mercury does the same thing. Mercury in your 8th house in Scorpio, sextiles Pluto in your 10th house. Okay, so your 10th house is your livelihood, your career, how you're known by reputation, professionally and personally. It's your most public house. You know, these very nice. This is actually a very nice sextile from a house where it's not just a money house, though. You know, it's well, it's many things. It is the house of death or endings. Okay, something ending more or less. So you may have transformed yourself in some way or other, or your reputation in whatever field you're in, or even if you don't work at all, there's still your personal reputation. As long as Pluto's in your 10th house, your outer persona is changing, and you're becoming known as somebody a lot more powerful, okay? Or someone who made changes within their livelihood that other industries have adopted, because the change made a lot of sense. It was something really good. So at this time, you could be like benefiting in some way or other from something you've done on your own. You've enhanced your livelihood or your position wherever it is that you work, or your social status in some way or other. And you could be given some kind of perk. Okay, the 8th house being a money house, okay, and also the house of transformation, though, too. So maybe this is what it is. Maybe you are doing this all knowingly, doing this all along in order to like achieve like a certain position or something or other. So now you're either being given access to companies or a client's resources of some kind, like a company card, credit card, per diem even, you know, all kinds of stuff, you know, but people are making themselves more available to you because of your job or your social status, okay? People want to do stuff for you. How's that? Okay, now on Wednesday, November 17th, Mars in Scorpio in your 8th house opposes the planet Uranus in your 2nd house of Taurus. Okay, and so Mercury just did this like last week, I believe. So this is Mars, though. Mars is a physically active kind of planet. It brings action, physical action, whereas Mercury brings the communication. So we're back to money again. You know, whatever the issue was possibly with Mercury opposing Uranus last week, it's a continuation of that. Only somebody's going to possibly make some kind of move, okay? The eighth house is shared resources. So if you have a spouse or you own property with someone else, a relative, or it could be a business partner or just anyone, that might be the topic of conversation. Either someone wants it all, or they want to buy you out, or you know, they want you to give them your share, something wild like that. This is also, the 8th house is also financial institutions like the IRS and banks, stuff like that, credit card companies and all that. So one of them could you know, make some kind of aggressive move towards you. Creditors, too. This is the house of creditors. So they could really do something pretty obnoxious at this time and try to, I don't know, go after your money, your wages or something, you know, attach them. Or, you know, it's just something or other. So if it's not like an institution, it's possibly a person. But I would look out for, you know, I check my account balances if I were you, even on the credit card statements and stuff like that. So on Thursday, November 18th, Mercury in Scorpio in your 8th house trines Neptune transiting in your 12th house of Pisces. So these are actually a very nice transit where maybe you have been given some kind of the use of somebody else's resources, right? Something that they have. It could be, it could be money, but it could be like a person actually helping you, because people are resources, actually, if you needed some kind of help from someone, even if they're just putting in a good word for you, something or other like that, okay? But it could be also, though, money coming to you in some way or other, and it looks like you're keeping it a secret, okay? Where you have Neptune in your chart is your 12th house of Pisces, the house of secrets and confidences. So there's something more or less going on here. Also at the same time, though, these are both the houses that show pretty much like your psychic ability, the 8th and the 12th. And have, excuse me, having Neptune in your 12th house for as long as it's been should have really helped to peak this in some way, okay? But now having all these planets in Scorpio at the same time, you're like, it's not like your imagination, your intuition is kind of like overactive right now. So I would really trust my hunches if I were you about anything, but especially when it comes to your money or something, like back to that 8th house, any kind of jointly held bank accounts or credit cards, or just check your bank statements, that's all. So for Taurus, on Monday, November 15th, the sun in Scorpio in your 7th house, okay, squares Jupiter transiting in Aquarius in your 10th house. And on Saturday, November 20th, Mercury does the same thing, okay? Mercury in Scorpio in your 7th house also squares Jupiter in Aquarius in your 10th house. Okay, so, Scorpio is your opposite sign. I've mentioned this many times, so you might even want to listen to your monthly forecast there. But your 7th house is your house of close relationships and partnerships. This is your spouse or a romantic partner or a business partner or a close friend. This is also the house of open enemies and competitors. Okay, so the square to Jupiter in your 10th house of your career, okay, like I've been saying, having Jupiter here usually brings about a promotion of some kind or a better job or better something or other. Okay, Saturn here is really making you work for it. Okay, so at this time, somebody could, I guess, go after, like, compete with you for a certain position. Okay, for as far as your career goes. This is the 10th house is also the house of your personal reputation, not just professional, but how you're known by reputation, period, okay? So somebody could, in a way, maybe even be attacking, excuse me, your public image, okay? Just, I don't know, trying to dissuade anyone from, like, being in your corner or supporting you in some way or other, okay? It could even be that a person, like the close relationship person that is doing this, maybe they don't want you to get involved in whatever it is that you're doing for your job, okay? Maybe you're doing a little bit too much, or they think you're making a wrong move or something. Okay, so on Tuesday, November 16th, the sun in Scorpio in your 7th house sextiles Pluto, transiting in your 9th house of Capricorn. And on Sunday, November 21st, Mercury does the same thing. Okay, Mercury in Scorpio in your 7th house sextiles Pluto, transiting in Capricorn in your 9th house. So this is a very nice transit where it's coming from your close relationships to your 9th house of, it's big travel house, okay? Travel and communications, media, the house of higher learning. But this is like where your philosophical and spiritual beliefs are, even your opinions on just about anything, how you really feel about whatever. And it looks like you are in agreement with whomever it is that you're very close with right now. Okay, a partner, a business partner, romantic partner, or a friend. Okay, this is also the house of legal matters, the ninth house, and the seventh house is the house of lawyers. Okay, so if you're discussing some kind of legal matter right now, it looks like you're getting good advice, or you're at least knowing what to ask for, or forming some kind of an agreement. It doesn't necessarily have to be on paper, but it could be a handshake deal or something or other. But under these transits, it looks like it's fair. Okay, but on the next day, on Wednesday, November 17th, okay, Mars in Scorpio in your 7th house opposes the planet Uranus transiting in your 1st house of Taurus, right? So Mercury just did this last week. So this could be a continuation of whatever might have occurred then. But this is Mars this time acting, okay? It's not Mercury, so it's a little bit more aggressive at this time. So you have to watch for like some kind of aggressive move being made to you by a competitor or an open enemy, or somebody could be going after your business partner or your romantic partner, trying to pull them away from you, or whatever. Anything's possible though, but this is really kind of explosive because the planet Uranus goes wherever it wants, like all over the place, and Uranus is just an awful lot of impact, a lot of action. So I'd be really careful on, this whole week even, but especially on this day, especially while you're driving. Like don't cut people off, or don't be in a big hurry to get somewhere. And you could even, again, this was in place with Mercury, but the same thing with Mars, though, okay? You could start off in a normal conversation with someone, and it ends up in a screaming match, okay? So this is one of those transits that can also do that, okay? So on Thursday, November 18th, Mercury in Scorpio in your 7th house trines Neptune transiting in your 11th house of Pisces. So your 11th house is your friends, your most sociable house. It's social media. It's where you go to hang out. It's any kind of organization that you belong to. It's also the house of dreams, hopes, and wishes. So having Neptune here, you're dreaming really beautiful, colorful dreams. But a lot of times you're seeing them through what is called rose-colored glasses. Okay, you also see your friends that way too. Not very clearly. You're giving them the benefit of the doubt when a lot of them don't even really deserve it. But at this time, it looks like, a friend, let's say from your 7th house, excuse me, a relationship there is maybe dreaming with you, or at least helping you to, achieve at least one of your goals at this time, even if it's just that you wanted to go someplace that you've never been to before. And, they take you there. It could be anything, really. But it's a trine, so it's a really nice aspect between you and a friend, or you and again, a business partner, romantic partner. So on Friday, November 19th, Venus in Capricorn in your 9th house trines the planet Uranus transiting in Taurus in your 1st house. Okay, so this will be happening on and off, okay? Because Venus is going to be in Capricorn up until like March 6th, I believe it is. So, it's your 9th house is the house of long distance travel and communication and media and publishing. It is an internet house also. You could have like, an awful lot of contact with someone who lives at a distance, possibly in another country. And this could like go back and forth, back and forth. It could maybe possibly be a long distance relationship, but it doesn't have to be like romantic. It could be business. The 9th house is the house of import-export businesses, dealing just with like other countries and stuff, okay? So you could actually be doing, something on those lines, or you're writing something, or putting something out on the internet. Could be a podcast of some kind, or you know, whatever, a website. And if you haven't started already doing something like that, this is more than likely when you'd get the urge to start that thing, because like I said, Venus is going to be in your ninth house for a while, so it will keep trining the planet Uranus in your first house, okay? But you know, it could bring about a very unusual kind of sudden friendship with someone that you know, lives in another country or at a distance, or has a completely different background than yours. And they could also be like from a completely different culture. So for Gemini, on Monday, November 15th, the sun in Scorpio in your 6th house, okay, squares Jupiter transiting in Aquarius in your 9th house. And on Saturday, November 20th, Mercury in Scorpio does the same thing, okay, squares Jupiter in your 9th house of Aquarius. So maybe something starts like on Monday and ends up on Saturday, okay? But you know, your 6th house, where you have the sign of Scorpio with all these planets transiting there right now, is your house of the kind of work that you do and the workplace and your co-workers. It's your work schedule, or even your daily schedule, like period, your daily life, kind of, you know, along with your 3rd house. But you know, there's all kinds of activity going on here. There's a full moon lunar eclipse, yeah, on the 19th in your 12th house in the sign of Taurus. So maybe this is leading up to something like that, that there's something going on where, and I just keep saying this, you know, as long as these planets are here, the square to your 9th house of higher learning and knowledge, that possibly maybe you are working with, I don't know, someone who lives in another country, a foreigner, period. They could even live in your own country, but they're a foreigner, okay? They could have like, I don't know, you could be dealing, like as far as work goes, okay, with like some kind of client or something like that, that just does, you don't see eye to eye on a lot of things, that they don't really care for the way you're doing your job with their account or something or other. But someone that you possibly have to deal with, let's put it that way, who is more than likely from a completely different background than yours. But it does also, again, look like you are pointing out to people, you know, that you know better how to do, let's say, a certain job, or you have more knowledge in that area. You're more qualified to take over, let's say, like someone else's position, even possibly. Because Jupiter, when it leaves your 9th house, will be moving into Pisces at the end of December, into your 10th house of your career. So maybe this is leading up to something like that. You know, maybe there's someone getting ready to leave or retire, or something or other going on at work there. But around the 19th, though, when that full moon partial lunar eclipse occurs in your 12th house of secrets, is when you could be let in on something. You know, just it pays to keep your ears open, because there's some weird another weird aspect this week. But anyways, on Tuesday, November 12th, the sun in Scorpio in your 6th house, sextiles house, Pluto transiting in your 8th house of Capricorn. And on Sunday, November 21st, Mercury does the same thing. Mercury in Scorpio in your 6th house, also sextiles Pluto in your 8th house of Capricorn. So we're back to the workplace again, and the 8th house is the house of other people's money and resources. This is possibly when you may get, let's say, like better benefits at work, or better insurance coverage or something or other. But it looks like it's work related. You're getting some kind of perk, like a per diem, or the use of a company car or credit card, or just something, you know. The eighth house is many, many things, but it's basically a money and supply kind of house, you know. So you're benefiting in some way or other due to work. Okay, but if you don't work at all, or if you're retired, okay, the sixth house is also the house of health and the house of service. Okay, and by service we mean it's service to others, but usually I view it as a 50-50 thing where you, someone needs a favor. They need you to do something for them, and you in turn say, okay, well, I'll do that for you if you do this for me. So you both benefit in some way or other. So this could be one of those things. Somebody could set up some kind of an arrangement with you where you both make out, but you, because of that, you could actually be given money. They could pay you to help them, or they could just give you access to something that you really need. And again, the eighth house is like resources. So I always say like equipment of some kind, or the use of something that they have that you need to use. Okay, so on Wednesday, November 17th, Mars in Scorpio in your 6th house opposes the planet Uranus transiting in your 12th house of Taurus. So this is like a real doozy, okay? Mercury just did the same aspect last week, so this looks like it's a continuation from that, okay? Mercury was the big communicator, okay? Last week at work, something more than likely happened at work that you found out about. Maybe it was a big secret, or it happened behind the scenes, or whatever, but it affected you in some way. Now this is Mars acting on the planet Uranus, doing the same thing, but it's physical, okay? I would watch out for somebody just like kind of maybe even flipping out at work, you know, or just getting up and leaving or quitting, or, you know, I really don't think it's you, you know, if you are actually physically in the workplace, okay, there's something that could like be going on there. With Mars there's an awful lot of activity anyways, and it's a lot of people trying to, you know, get their agenda done, you know, it's a me thing, kind of free-for-all, it seems. That's going on at work right now. So whatever happens, something could happen at work, okay, or in the workplace that no one knows who did it, okay? It could be something like that. And you may possibly know, or you think you know, or you actually saw it done, okay? On Thursday, November 18th, Mercury in Scorpio in your 6th house trines Neptune transiting in your 10th house of Pisces. So this is back to, you know, the workplace and your career, your 10th house of your career. And this is a very helpful transit. It means that your boss or somebody you work with, or somebody's giving you a really good reference. You know, that whomever is saying some really nice things about you. Publicly, though, even, because your 10th house is also your public life. So somebody's putting in a good word for you, more or less. On Friday, November 19th, Venus in Capricorn in your 8th house trines Uranus transiting in your 12th house of Taurus. Okay, so, you know, I've mentioned before that Venus is going to be in Capricorn up until March, beginning of March. So it's going to be in your 8th house of money, a money house, other people's money and resources, okay, along with Pluto. So it's going to be trining on and off the planet Uranus in your 12th house of Taurus. So 12th house is secrets and actions taken by you or someone else behind the scenes. Okay, now having the planet Uranus here does bring a lot of like weird ideas just pop into your head and stuff, and you're wondering where did that come from. Very strange dreams. You know, this is the house of the subconscious mind and whatever, you know. So this is also the house of like confinement and prisons of some kind, and even an actual prison, or someone who is confined to like a hospital or a personal care home, something like that. or they like can't get around. Maybe that's what some of this is actually leading up to with this sixth house thing, as far as service to others go. So maybe you are actually helping someone. You're being paid to help someone, or they're giving you access to their accounts, their money, okay, their estate even. In fact, you could be named, in someone's will, even if you're like the executor, they still pay you for that, okay? But you are doing stuff behind the scenes, possibly for someone else, and they're paying you for it. And it could be somebody who is in prison, maybe they need help. They need you to do a lot of legwork for them. Or anyone, actually, because the 12th house is the house of charitable acts. So something on those ends, but it's a secret, and you should probably keep it a secret, because this Venus will keep, on and off trining the planet Uranus in your 12th house. So it looks like you've got the gift that just keeps on giving in some way or other. Okay? Some kind of gift. Okay, so for Cancer, on Monday, November 15th, the Sun in Scorpio in your 5th house squares Jupiter transiting in Aquarius in your 8th house. And on Saturday, November 20th, Mercury in Scorpio in your 5th house also squares Jupiter transiting in your 8th house of Aquarius. So this really isn't too bad. Mercury just did this, whatever. That was with Saturn. But anyways, yeah, Saturn was squared here recently. So, now it's like to Jupiter, which isn't that bad. Transits to Jupiter really are pretty much all good. And this is coming from your 5th house of fun and romance. Okay, creativity, gambling, children, any kind of amusements or games and sports and just whatever, So just the square to Jupiter could possibly mean that that you are being given access to someone's money, or you're being helped in some way. Maybe someone's picking up the tab for you to have some kind of fun. If you are out at a casino or something like that, maybe they're lending you money or just paying your way, or for some form of entertainment. So it just looks like it comes down to, either withdrawing money from the bank, or asking to borrow some from someone, or just running up a credit card or whatever, but spending money, but it's in order to have fun. So I think it's a good thing, okay? On Tuesday, November 16th, the Sun in Scorpio in your 5th house sextiles Pluto transiting in your 7th house of Capricorn. And on Sunday, November 21st, Mercury does the same thing. Mercury in Scorpio in your 5th house, also sextiles Pluto in Capricorn in your 7th house. So this is a very nice aspect from your 5th house of fun and romance to your 7th house of close relationships, like romance or business or a friend even. So I'd have to say that, you are doing something, if it's not romantic, it's with a friend. I don't see any kind of business partner in on this one. But you're, you're doing something, even if it's just for fun. You could actually be in the middle of some kind of creative collaboration with somebody. Doesn't matter what it is, even if this is just the beginning, the start of, but it appears to be something that is kind of like going to be whatever you're forming right now. If it's a creative collaboration, a romance of some kind, a friendship, even a new friendship, or hanging out with somebody that just turned you on, or you turned them on to some kind of different music or film or something or other. This is going to be like an ongoing thing, kind of, because you have Venus in Capricorn till like March. Okay, so Venus is going to be in your 7th house of close relationships that long, okay, along with Pluto. So it's giving you a little bit more power or whatever, or influence, in your close relationships. And this seems to be starting that right now with your the sextiles from your 5th house of romance and fun. Okay, entertainment. So whatever you're starting, it's going to be ongoing, it seems, anyway. So on Wednesday, November 17th, okay, Mars in Scorpio in your 5th house opposes the planet Uranus, transiting in Taurus in your 11th house. Okay, so Mercury just did this same thing, but Mercury's a big communicator, right? So maybe something was said at this time, you know, between you and one of your friends. The 5th house, again, where you have Scorpio, and Mars is the planet of fun and entertainment and parties and creativity, romance, speculation, anything like that. And your 11th house is your house of your friends and where you would normally go to hang out. It's your most sociable house. It's social media. But this Mars acting on the planet Uranus is like kind of physical, and it brings out an energy kind of that just bursts out everywhere, and you're not really sure where it's going to end up. So I'd have to say that, you know, if you are out anywhere in public, you know, with your friends or something could happen between, let's say, like an old flame, okay? Or they could just suddenly show up, or maybe you have a little bit of a stalker or something that always is like where you are, you know, you're like, why are they always there, you know, or are you following me? Something weird like that could possibly happen. Or it could happen even on social media. You know how much fun that is sometimes, right? With people feeling that they can just hide behind a keyboard and you're never going to find out who they are. And, oh, what a surprise when you do. You know what I mean? So it's something like that. But this could actually get physical. So I would have to say, I don't know. I don't think you'd be fighting over somebody or anyone would be fighting over you. Do people still do that nowadays? I don't know. But there's something really kind of like explosive going on this day. So watch whatever you do or say, especially if you're out in public. Or try to stay away from volatile people. That's it right there. If you've got a friend or somebody in your group of friends that's like, yeah, volatile. It's probably be a good idea to stay away from them because something could be actually happening to them, but you're like in their orbit. You know what I mean? So whatever could just like run off on you. Okay, it may be directed at them, but you end up in it even when you didn't want to be. Right. On Thursday, November 18th, Mercury in Scorpio in your 5th house trines Neptune, transiting in your 9th house of Pisces. So this is very nice, okay, from your 5th house of, let's say, again, we're going with romance, but it's also like, you know, like your entertainment, but things like music that you like or films that you like or something. And a nice trine to your 9th house where you have Neptune just means that maybe you're on the same page or you see eye to eye with someone at this time. Doesn't always have to be romantic, okay? But in regards to your outlook on your philosophy on life, though, but even like how you enjoy yourself, things that you do for entertainment or how you relax even. Looks like, you know, if you're with someone at this time, they, you know, that you're like on, you get each other, like you both understand one another. So, and you're into like the same thing. On Friday, November 19th, Venus in, excuse me, in Capricorn in your 7th house, trines Uranus transiting in your 11th house of Taurus. So we're back to, you know, your 7th house of close relationships, right? So Venus being here, as long as it's going to make this aspect probably a few times, okay? Trine from Venus in your 7th to your 11th, where you have the planet Uranus, okay? And the 11th house isn't just your friends. and where you hang out. It's also your house of dreams, hopes, and wishes, okay? So you can have an awful lot of influence right now within your close relationships. It could be a business partner, a romantic, close friend, anything, whatever. But you could, if it's business or one of those, whatever, you could really influence one of these people in your life to help you go after some kind of dream or a goal that you've always wanted, you know. And having the planet Uranus in your 11th house means that maybe your goals have changed. They're a little bit more unique. They're a little bit more different or interesting. They're all pretty much may not even be like anyone else's. They're that different or that special. So it just looks like you're going to have help from someone, a close relationship, help you pursue anything even though. But if you did want to belong to a certain kind of organization or even create one of your own, okay? Whereas you're not joining, you're having people join your group or organization. So it could be the beginning of something like that. So for Leo, on Monday, November 15th, the Sun in Scorpio in your 4th house squares Jupiter transiting in your 6th house of Aquarius. And on Saturday, November 20th, Mercury in Scorpio in your 4th house also squares Jupiter in Aquarius in your 7th house. So this isn't a very big deal because any kind of aspect of Jupiter is actually pretty good. Okay, and your 7th house is your close relationships. Maybe someone, I've mentioned this I think before, maybe there's some kind of discussion that, you know, a romantic partner possibly wants to make changes in the way you live, such as maybe you two moving in together or actually getting married or something like that, or maybe you have children and they feel that there's a lack of privacy or something when they come over to visit you or something like that. You know, it's just maybe somebody wanting you to change something a little bit, just a little bit, at home for like their benefit, or both of you actually, but something that would make them feel a little bit more comfortable. On Tuesday, November 16th, the Sun in Scorpio in your 4th house, sextiles Pluto transiting in your 6th house of Capricorn. And on Sunday, November 21st, Mercury in Scorpio in your 4th house, also sextiles Pluto transiting in your 6th house of Capricorn. So this is, you know, the 6th house is the kind of work that you do, the workplace, your co-workers. It is your house of health and service to others and whatever, but I'd have to say that right now possibly, you know, all these planets in your 4th house of your home and your personal life, whatever, that maybe you are working from home, or you could possibly be working, you know, in a building or whatever, or not working at all even. But it just looks like you're being given a little bit more authority or more say in what is happening in the workplace, even as far as schedules go or assignments or whatever that you all get, or some kind of change, you know, that that's in your favor, more or less. Okay, on Wednesday, November 17th, Mars in Scorpio in your 4th house opposes the planet Uranus transiting in Taurus in your 10th house of your career and public life, okay? So Mercury just created this aspect last week, okay? So that was more verbal with Mercury, right? Well, Mars is a physically active and aggressive kind of energetic planet, okay? So it's in your 4th house of your home life, your family, your personal life, okay? Your 10th house is your most public house in your chart. It's how you're viewed by the public, personally and professionally, but it's your career and how you're known by reputation. Okay, just having the planet Uranus here brings about an awful lot of odd unusual speculation as far as your job goes, your career, or your personal life, anything about you. This is like the National Enquirer material stuff, okay? Especially with this Mars being here, it's could be hitting, really, literally hitting home with maybe something you hear about yourself. It could be some kind of gossip. It doesn't look like it's purposely malicious, but you know, you've probably heard some really out there kind of things about yourself while this planet has been here in your 10th house, okay? But excuse me. Whatever may occur at this time is something you're like, that's it. You know, it could be something that affects your family or your personal life in some way that's very derogatory, or and it could eventually affect your possibly your ability to earn a living, right? Or your respect in whatever career you're in. You know, so you're going to really put a stop to whatever may possibly being said about you publicly. And this could also be like on like social media, okay, when people post stuff. Okay, but this is the transit where you can actually just start off in a regular conversation and end up in a screaming match with someone. This could even end up, though, with family. You know, maybe something's not going the way you want it to with your lifestyle, or you know, your family or whomever feels your job is, I don't know, doing something to you. It's hurting you in some way or whatever, you know. But there's, looks like a big disagreement between your personal life and your career. Okay, so that's just something to keep in mind. On Thursday, November 18th, Mercury in Scorpio in your 4th house trines Neptune transiting in your 8th house of Pisces. So this is, I think, a really nice aspect where, you know, Jupiter will be moving into Pisces at the end of December. So it's going to move into your 8th house of other people's money and resources, okay? This is the house of legacies and inheritances and lots of stuff, okay? So maybe this is beginning right now. It's just starting out where, you know, because your 4th house, where you have Scorpio, is also your past and your childhood. So there could be something coming up, you know, that starts off like even the beginning of next year in regards to your childhood. Maybe there is some kind of legacy, or you know, having Neptune in your 8th house. I've mentioned before about keeping an eye on your bank accounts and credit card statements and making sure that no one has stolen your identity or something like that. But there is something there that has always been like kind of vague, you know. Maybe as you were growing up you were told, you know, your uncle this or your aunt that or your grandfather always said he was going to do this or that. You know, and it was something that was in your favor. It was something that they did for you, or they wanted you to have, even if they took out like an insurance policy on you when you were born, you know, or bought you stock in something or other, you know. But you knew something about this, but you weren't sure how to even track it down, or was it somebody just talking, you know, or, you know, did it really exist? And I think this is when this will all begin. Is, yeah, it did, more or less. You know, somebody wants to give you something. And I believe when Jupiter moves into this area is when a lot of this, like, confusion possibly will open up a little bit. On Friday, November 19th, Venus in Capricorn in your 6th house trines the planet Uranus, transiting in your 10th house of Taurus. So Venus is going to be in your 6th house all the way up until March, beginning of March, and it will create this trine on and off, okay, to the planet Uranus in your 10th house of your career, along with a conjunction to Pluto in your 6th house of the workplace, okay? So even if you're not in like the beauty industry, you know, I believe that if you are, you know, anything with hair or makeup or clothing, jewelry, something like that, that you're getting like a really a lot of support from the people you work with, but even like your employer or a boss, or maybe you're even by now, going out on your own. Just having Pluto here all this time should have changed the way you earn a living. Okay, it could have been kind of gradual though, so it's leading up till this. Okay, so even if you're not in the beauty industry, whatever you're doing is considered like some form of art, or it's beautiful in some way or other. And this is like, because it's a trine to your 10th house where Uranus is transiting, it's almost like it's a position that you've created for yourself, or someone created for you, that really a lot of people don't do, or it really doesn't exist. And it's kind of like on the lines of like Vanna White saying that her position, what she does is she's a letter turner. Okay, something like that. It's something a little bit different. Okay, that should actually be beginning if it hasn't already started. Okay, so for Virgo, on Monday, November 15th, the Sun in Scorpio in your 3rd house squares Jupiter transiting in your 6th house of Aquarius. And on Saturday, November 20th, Mercury in your 3rd house also squares Jupiter in Aquarius in your 6th house. Okay, so this is not bad. Any aspect to Jupiter is actually pretty good. It just usually causes you to go overboard in some way, but I really don't see that happening here. Okay, I just think like the 3rd house where you have Scorpio right now is a big communication and travel house. It's your everyday life, okay, along with your 6th house, also your everyday schedule, everyday life. Okay, so I would have to say that maybe you are in contact more with, let's say, people that you work with, or your boss or something or other. If you don't work at all, there's still possibly someone. The 6th house is the house of service to others, and what that is usually someone wants you to do something for them, like a favor, as a favor, and in turn they do something for you, so you both benefit in some way or other, right? So this could be one of those times where somebody may ask you for that kind of an arrangement, and you might have to think about it for a while, because maybe it's only this one time, so that's one thing. But somebody could think that this is like a permanent setup, and you had no intention on anything like that, right? See, Jupiter is moving from your 6th house at the end of December, and it'll move into your 7th house of Pisces. But all you'll have in your 6th house is Saturn, so it looks like it could be whatever, a bit of a burden if you are in some kind of arrangement like that. So I would really be specific and say, it's only for like this day or that day, or for a little while. Okay, it's not forever. On Tuesday, November 16th, the Sun in Scorpio in your 3rd house, sextiles Pluto transiting in your 5th house of Capricorn. And on Sunday, November 21st, Mercury in Scorpio in your 3rd house, also sextiles Pluto in Capricorn in your 5th house. So I would have to say that, because Venus is also in your 5th house right now in Capricorn, and the 5th house is the big romance and entertainment and fun and parties and children, creativity, and games of any kind, sports, dancing, whatever. 3rd house is local travel. It's overnight or weekend travel, or day, just like a day that, you drive somewhere to do something fun. It looks like something like that is going on. A little bit of travel to an amusement park, or just somewhere that is fun. It could be for your kids, taking the whole family, or it could be, it could be in regards to romance, but it just looks like it's some kind of, I would say, I would have to say travel, but if you're not traveling, it's still maybe possibly making plans or something for a party, maybe with you're in touch with your relatives. Um, for something like that that's coming up. So maybe there's something more or less going on at this time, but maybe you are even just attending some kind of gathering or party. Let's see here. Okay, on Wednesday, November 17th, Mars in Scorpio in your third house opposes the planet Uranus transiting in Taurus in your ninth house. Okay, so Mercury just did the same aspect like last week, but now we have Mars acting on the planet Uranus, and it does bring about a little bit, it's a physical planet, okay, and very aggressive and energetic, whereas Mercury was the big communicator, okay, blah. This is something physical. Okay, third house is like driving, you know, driving around your own area, taking public transportation. And on this day, this is like one of those days where there could be a lot of road rage incidents somewhere or other. Somebody could, you know, flip out because they think you cut them off, or, you know, you could think that, I don't know, somebody's following you or something weird like that, okay? So, but you know, things like this happen, but it's more likely to develop into something a little bit more, though, because of the planet Uranus brings about unpredictability and volatile, like, nature. You know, you just don't know how somebody's going to take something or do something. Both of these houses are communication and travel houses. So you'd have to be very careful when traveling, okay, period. But also with communications, though, you could, this is one of those times where you could start off in some kind of normal conversation and just end up in not just a screaming match, but like fists flying or threats, you know. So watch what you say, especially on this day. Don't leave any kind of bizarre messages on people's voicemail or something like that, you know. Don't make idle threats, you know. Don't say anything pretty off the wall. But whatever's going on at this time, I'd be really careful when I was just traveling, period, even if you're just walking around, okay? On Thursday, November 18th, Mercury in Scorpio in your third house trines Neptune transiting in your seventh house of Pisces. So your seventh house is your close relationships. You know, this is like a close friend possibly that you are in communication with in regards, I'd have to say, to like your friendship, or it could be in regards to romance. This is also the house of business relations. So it looks like something, whatever kind of arrangement you may be making right now, this is just like all verbal. It doesn't look like it's anything in writing just yet, but it's could be just some kind of arrangement or plans for the future with one of these close relationships. Okay, on Friday, November 19th, Venus in Capricorn in your fifth house trines Uranus transiting in your ninth house of Taurus. So we're back to your fifth house where Venus, you know, is going to be here up until March. So it's going to more than likely create this trine to the planet Uranus again, as it will also conjunct Pluto in your fifth house. So this is either a long-distance romance or collaboration of some kind, just because Venus is here for as long as it is, okay, in the house of romance. But it's also the house of creativity and art and stuff like that. So, you know, you could have some kind of long-distance relationship even going on with a creative project. Maybe you're not actually there, or, you know, in person. This could be like over the internet or something. You could be something that you've like created or are writing, let's say, even now, because the ninth house is also publishing and media. could turn out to be something that really goes over really well. It's received, you know, by the public and stuff, like a lot better than you thought it would. It would have happened, you know. It's almost like accidental in a way, the way that you go about or begin some kind of project, okay? It could be just, you know, for fun. You're just doing something for fun, but it could turn into something really like, you know, something that affects a lot of people, okay? But as far as romance goes, this could be the beginning of something like that. You know, maybe you even meet this person on social media. It could also be like somebody that you've been communicating with, you finally are going to get together and meet in person for like the first time. So, for Libra, on Monday, November 15th, the Sun in Scorpio in your second house squares Jupiter, transiting in your fifth house of Aquarius. And on Saturday, November 20th, Mercury in Scorpio in your second house also squares Jupiter, transiting in Aquarius in your fifth house. So whatever's going on here, your second house is your earned income and your possessions, but it's how you earn your money. And whatever starts off on Monday and ends up on Saturday, okay? To your fifth house of entertainment and romance, speculation, fun of any kind, parties, games, sports, children, all kinds of stuff. So we're back to like, do I spend the money? Do I spend the money on the good time, okay? Because these planets just squared Saturn, more or less. But now we're talking about Jupiter, okay? Because any aspect of Jupiter isn't bad, okay? It just makes you want to go overboard in some way or other. I really don't see that happening here, but it could be, you know, something that you might end up doing, you know. You might speculate, you know, you might... we'll get to that one in a minute, though, too. You might have this urge, you know, to gamble with something or other, you know, as long as you don't go too overboard or spend money that you don't have, thinking that you'll get it, you know, you'll make up for it some way or other. But it looks like, you know, just spending, do I spend money on a good time, okay? You could have also, though, fifth house is the house of creativity, so you could have created something that you're actually being paid for right now, or you're talking, like doing some kind of deal, you know, about something that, again, like that you've created, and you're talking money, you know, how much are you going to charge, what's your fee, blah, blah, blah. On Tuesday, November 16th, the Sun in Scorpio in your second house sextiles Pluto, transiting in Capricorn in your fourth house. And on Sunday, November 21st, Scorpio, Mercury in Scorpio in your second house also sextiles Pluto, transiting in your fourth house of Capricorn. So these are like nice sextiles from your house of income to your home, okay, your home and family life, your fourth house. It's also your personal life, your past, your childhood, but it's like where you actually physically live. So you could be upgrading here in some way or other. The planet Venus is in Capricorn right now and will stay here along with Pluto, okay? But Venus will be in Capricorn up until March. So you're going to have like, it looks like pleasant times occurring within your home, not with just like your family. There could be a lot of gatherings there or meetings of some kind possibly, but having Venus there brings about really nice, enjoyable times in a home setting, or even as far as romance goes. That's where most of your romantic time would be spent, is in a home setting. So I'd have to say over dinner or movies and popcorn and whatever. Watching movies on TV, but you know, it looks like there's something very nice, possibly. Maybe you're going to buy a new entertainment center or whatever. Make some kind of really nice purchase for your home, or upgrade it in some way that makes it more valuable if you're looking to sell or change your home in any way for the betterment of like a listing price. So you might be doing something like that also. On Wednesday, November 17th, Mars in Scorpio in your second house opposes the planet Uranus, transiting in your 8th house of Taurus. So Mercury in Scorpio, okay, just did this same transit like last week, okay? And I believe I told you to play the lottery, and I'm going to tell you that again, okay? Because Mars is a little different than Mercury. Mercury is all like verbal and stuff, so it was communication, not necessarily pleasant communication going on in regards to money, okay? Now we've got Mars acting on the planet Uranus, and Mars is a physical planet. It's very energetic, and the planet Uranus is very volatile and unexpected, okay? You never know what's going to happen with these two planets together, and it's occurring in your houses of money. The second house where you have Mars, 8th house where you have Uranus. So this is that hard aspect I was saying about last week, that this is even more of a hard aspect than Mercury opposed the planet Uranus. This is Mars, you know, bringing about action of some kind. So if somebody has something of yours that you lent to them, or even that they stole and you found out about it, okay, you want it back. Or somebody owes you money, you want that money now, no matter who it is, okay? Even if it's like a refund or of some kind, you know, a bank, something dealing with the bank, or dealing with the IRS, you know, tax people, something or other. But you're really, you know, going after something that belongs to you, okay? If you hold own property with someone else, or have bank accounts or credit cards with someone else, this is like one of those times where there will be an awful lot of, I'd say, fighting over things like that, and who spent too much money, and where is the money, you know, in our bank account. It's not the same balance I remember, you know, stuff like that. But again, I'm going to tell you to play the lottery. Like, you know, even the day before and the day after this, because this is probably in effect for about 3 days. So be careful. But you have to also be careful about conversations or drastic moves. Don't do anything just out of spite, or just out of like, oh, I'll show them, you know, I'm going to close my account, you know, and then you'll be sorry like a week later, you know, because you really needed that account. But I would just really, again, we're back to checking the balances, okay, in your accounts, jointly held accounts, or not even jointly held. If somebody knows how to get into one of your accounts because they have the information they need, and because you gave it to them, you know, they're more than likely abusing it right now, okay? On Thursday, November 18th, Mercury in Scorpio in your second house trines Neptune, transiting in your 6th house of Pisces. So the 6th house is the workplace, the kind of work that you do. Your 2nd house is earned income, okay? Money coming from that very thing. Okay, you know, Jupiter is still in Aquarius, okay, but it will be moving into Pisces at the end of December. So it's going to be moving into your 6th house of work, the kind of work that you do. And I think that that's really starting to change, that it's expanding in some way or other, because even having Jupiter in your 5th house of romance doesn't always bring a romance. It could also bring a creative project, or some more funner, is that a good word? Funner way of earning a living, okay? Because Saturn is also in your 5th house at the same time, so it's trying to work out the logistics of doing something like that, okay? So that, I believe something like that is forming right now, even with just this trine from your second house to your sixth house. But it's also, you know, just actually receiving money from work that you've done, okay? You're on the receiving end on this day, or you are actually discussing upcoming fee or pay or something or other in regards to money and work, okay? On Friday, November 19th, Venus in Capricorn in your 4th house trines Uranus transiting in your 8th house of Taurus. So Venus will be in Capricorn up until March, and it will more than likely create this aspect again, along with conjunctions to Pluto, also in Capricorn in your 4th house. So this is a very nice time, like, I'd have to say, you know, they're trying to 8th house of other people's resources and money. Okay, and your 4th house is your home life, your family, where you actually physically live, but it's also your childhood and your past. Okay, so at times you could be on the receiving end of an unexpected, like, inheritance, okay? From, you know, it could be family, you know, from your childhood. Maybe someone put you in their will when you were born even. Maybe you've always been in their will. Or it could be a surprise, though, a lot of times with having the planet Uranus in your 8th house as to who's making you their beneficiary, okay, of anything. Because this is insurance payouts and legal settlements, too, okay, the 8th house. So, you know, in regards to your home, though, I believe that you will be receiving property that was more than likely yours all along anyway. Or you could be on the receiving end of something that you were unaware of, or it's a surprise, what it is, or if it's money, the amount that it is. But as long as Uranus is here, and I'm going to say this real quick, so in case you people are discouraged right now, okay? In the future, very near future, okay? Next year, Jupiter is in Pisces, moves very quickly, actually, and then moves into Aries in May. And I believe it's in Aries like the whole rest of the year, but it might fall into Taurus, okay? But eventually, Jupiter is going to be in Taurus with Uranus in your 8th house, okay? This just screams like inheritance or windfall. You know, 8th house is money coming to you through means other than earning it. So it's also prize money. So, you know, I'll tell you about all that then, you know, when it comes along. But it's little ways off, but close enough. Maybe not next year, but the year after. So you're going to benefit in some way or other from that. That is if you have Libra rising. Okay, you have to have Libra rising to have this setup here. Okay, anyways, let's see here. Okay. Well, back to, you know, this whole Venus trine Uranus. Just one more thing, okay? Just because your 4th house is your childhood, you could be gifted with something that maybe you remember from when you were a little kid, you know, and you vaguely remembered it, but it was something like really neat. Well, for some reason or other, that could end up in your hands. Either maybe you're at a relative's house and maybe you're, I don't know, helping them move or something, or you're in their basement or their attic for whatever reason, and you come across this very thing. It's just something I just wanted to mention. Okay. So that's not going to happen for everybody, but it's something weird like that. Something, you know, that you'll be allowed to take because it was more than likely yours to begin with. Could have been like the very first Barbie doll or whatever, you know, it depends on how old you are, or some kind of collectible doll or toy or something. Okay, so for, got the wrong, yeah, Scorpio. Had these in order. Okay, so for Scorpio, on Monday, November 15th, the Sun in Scorpio in your 1st house squares Jupiter transiting in your 4th house of Aquarius. And on Saturday, November 20th, Mercury, also in your first house in Scorpio, squares Jupiter in Aquarius in your fourth house. So this really isn't all that bad. It's just that you have all these planets in your first house right now. Your fourth house is your home life, where you actually physically live and the people you live with. It's your family and your personal life. You know, there's been up and down things going on there with Jupiter and Saturn here at the same time, but they kind of leveled out, okay? So you're just still trying to make changes, or you want things done the way you want them done in regards to your home, okay? Even if you live alone, there could be something going on with your property that you're not happy with, you know, or something more or less that you want to change. But you have to remember, these are squares to Jupiter, and any aspect of Jupiter is never really bad. It just makes you go overboard in some way, but this is very minor. It's a square, so I really don't see anything about, you know, going overboard in any way. It's if you live with someone and they're doing something that's annoying you, or that you want them to stop doing, even if it's just like bringing people over all the time or something, that's what you would be talking about or discussing on this day. Okay, that you want it stopped. On Tuesday, November 16th, the Sun in Scorpio in your first house sextiles Pluto, transiting in your third house of Capricorn. And on, let's see here, Sunday, November 21st, Mercury in Scorpio in your first house, also sextiles Pluto in Capricorn in your third house. So your third house is your everyday life and the people you would encounter and the places you would go throughout the normal course of your day. Okay, it's a travel and communication house. It's your immediate area, your neighborhood, your neighbors, siblings, cousins. This is the house of like any kind of communication, but also like postal mail, regular postal mail, and email, text message, voicemail, stuff like that. So you could just be, you know, in contact with some of the people that I just mentioned that you would normally run into, or you are actually just like in touch with like cousins or a sibling or your neighbors. You could be discussing something with them. Having Pluto in your third house, I've mentioned before that sometimes brings changes to your neighborhood that aren't always for the better. Venus is in Capricorn and will be here up until March, so you have Venus and Pluto in your third house for that long period of time, and it also creates another aspect that's really nice, but I'll get to that in a minute. But anyway, so maybe before there was, I always say like Pluto sometimes brings the criminal element to your area. Like you have a shady neighbor that's possibly doing something illegal or something or other, you know. Or they're bringing down the neighborhood, the value of the houses or something, you know. So this kind of like is the exact opposite. It looks like you're getting like support from your neighbors or anyone in your area for any kind of changes that you were trying to make. Even in regards to like the businesses, you know, there's still a lot of up and down due to the pandemic with businesses in anywhere. But it could be like it was or something, maybe a bit of a problem where you are, and maybe you've found some kind of solution, like not just for you, but for everyone in your immediate area. Okay, on Wednesday, November 17th, Mars in Scorpio in your first house opposes the planet Uranus in your seventh house of Taurus. So Mercury created this same aspect like last week, so that was a little bit more verbal, whereas Mars, your ruling planet, one of your ruling planets, okay, Pluto's the other one. Anyways, it's at home when it's in your sign. So, but this opposition to the planet Uranus, which is very unpredictable and a very sudden and surprising events, and Mars being an aggressive and energetic and physically active planet, kind of making you want to get that way, you could be up in somebody's face, or somebody could be up in yours, okay? With somebody just picked the wrong time, definitely the wrong time, and the wrong person even to, I don't know, come at you in some way or other. The 7th house is your close relationships, okay? Romantic, close friend, business partner, but it's also the house of open enemies and competitors, okay? So, like I said, somebody just, they weren't thinking, okay? Because this is also around the full moon partial eclipse in Taurus on the 19th, so this is close enough where something could be brewing, you know. And you do have to have an like screaming match with someone, or you know, do something or other. This could actually get kind of physical, so I'd be really careful if I were you. I'd be careful where I went around these few days, any kind of travel, but this doesn't really concern traveling. It's just being in contact with someone, and a partner. It's a close friend or partner, or you know what, you could even have a friend that has a friend that they bring to everything. You know, they're like, I don't know, joined at the hip or something, but it's like if you invite one, they always bring this other friend with them. That could be like kind of shady, you know, maybe there's something about them, you know, that isn't on the up and up. And this could be one of those times. It's just like the wrong time for your friend to bring their friend along, okay? Because something could be up with them, you know what I mean? So it's not necessarily your close friend or partner. It could be someone that they know, that they bring this person into your life. You know, you didn't do it, that you're in touch or in contact with that person because your friend or your partner brought them, okay? So something could happen like with that, okay? Just be careful. On Thursday, November 18th, Mercury in Scorpio in your first house trines Neptune, transiting in your 5th house of Pisces. So the 5th house of love and romance and creativity and fun, okay? Entertainment of any kind, speculation, children. Okay, so Jupiter's moving here into your 5th house at the end of December. So right now, this very nice trine from your 1st house means that you're like kind of pursuing these things right now. All the things that I just said that the 5th house governs, okay? So you're looking for a good time, looking to have some fun. Maybe attend a party or two. Or possibly even throw one yourself. But it looks like you're just doing something that maybe you would like, you had planned on doing all along, but it looks like it's something fun, and maybe you are even attending your own birthday party, okay? On Friday, November 19th, Venus in Capricorn in your 3rd house, okay? Venus is here up until March, right? Trines the planet Uranus transiting in your 7th house of Taurus. So this aspect will more than likely happen again, along with a conjunction to Pluto in your 3rd house, but the very nice trine from your 3rd house to your 7th house of close relationships. So I would have to say that whomever, if it isn't a romantic or business partner, or if it is, I would have to say that as far as business goes, in your own area, your own neighborhood, it should be like really kind of successful if it wasn't already. It's regarding Venus-related things. It could be beauty or art or some form of entertainment or something like that. As far as a romantic partnership goes, this would be a time where awful lot of really good communication going on here, okay, between you two. Or even like just like a close friend. It seems like your communications with people who are close to you are more kind of like profound or something. Saying things, or maybe you'll even write something at this time that's like really heartfelt, that people are, if you make it public, they're kind of surprised that this is coming out of you. It's like poetry or something like that. Okay? So, again, though, this transit will more than likely happen a couple times. I just don't have the dates on it right now, anyway. So, for Sagittarius, on Monday, November 15th, the Sun in Scorpio in your 12th house squares Jupiter, transiting in your 3rd house of Aquarius. And on Saturday, November 20th, Mercury in Scorpio in your 12th house also squares Jupiter, transiting in your 3rd house of Aquarius. So not a bad aspect at all. Aspects to Jupiter are never really bad, and this is just a square. And it's coming from, excuse me, your 12th house of behind the scenes. It's the house of secrets and stuff. But usually when planets are here, this is your downtime. This is you recharging your batteries before planets move into your 1st house. But, you know, due to the pandemic and stuff, a lot of people are stuck at home still, even though you can go out now, but still not able to do a lot of things freely. So maybe you don't really need your batteries recharged, you know. Maybe you're just very busy, like on your own, you know, just working on something. You know, it could be anything. It could be a project, could be a relationship, could be anything at all. But you are very busy, even though it's happening behind the scenes. So your 3rd house, where you have Aquarius, is like your everyday life. The people you would encounter and the places you would go throughout the normal course of a day. So, you know, this is like your neighbors in your neighborhood. And big communication house, though, too. Communication and travel. Having Jupiter here means that you might be doing an awful lot of traveling, but it's like in a tri-state area or fairly nearby, you know, wherever it is you live. Could be a lot of day trips or overnighters, weekenders, something like that. Could be in regards to business. But for whatever reason, you could actually be writing something. This is a big internet house. If you have written something, maybe you're putting the finishing touches on that right now. But you could also be having, I have to say, like, be in contact with someone secretly, in a way. You know, maybe there's something coming up that maybe you're planning with someone. It could be 3rd house is the house of siblings and cousins. Maybe you're planning some kind of, you know, big surprise for somebody or other, or something for the holidays. Could be anything, but you could be, again, planning something or be in contact with someone, and it's a secret so far anyway. On Tuesday, November 16th, the Sun in Scorpio in your 12th house sextiles Pluto, transiting in your 2nd house of Capricorn. And on Sunday, November 21st, Mercury in Scorpio in your 12th house, also sextiles Pluto, transiting in your 2nd house of Capricorn. So your 2nd house is earned income, how you earn your money, and your possessions, the things that you value, your valuables even, but your personal values though too. But it's like your investments and whatever, but it's money coming from work that you've done. Okay, so you could be like doing something for someone, some kind of work, a job of some kind, and you're not really putting it out there just yet. It's not like it's a big secret, but it's not like you're running up to people going, hey, guess what I'm doing, you know. And because I think it's something that you would like to do, period, like all the time, be like your main source of income. You know, it could be something you've been working on all along, but now you're getting a little bit more work thrown your way, to the point where it could be like pretty steady income of some kind. Okay, you know, Pluto's been here for a while, so has changed the way you earn a living. With the help of the planet Uranus in Taurus in your sixth house of the kind of work that you do. Well, Venus is going to be in Capricorn up until March 6th, so it's going to be here all that time. It'll create a couple aspects. I'll get to that in a minute, but it's going to be very, very beneficial to you. Okay, so that could be something that you're working on right now, is like a job of some kind. Okay, so like on Wednesday, November 17th, Mars in Scorpio in your 12th house opposes the planet Uranus in your 6th house of Taurus. So Mercury just created this aspect like last week. This is a really volatile transit here. It's coming from Mars though. Okay, so the aggressor. Mars is an aggressive, energetic planet. Okay, it's a can-do kind of planet, right? And the planet Uranus is very volatile and unexpected, the results. Okay, now these two planets together like releases this kind of energy that just like goes everywhere. So you could, you know, with Mercury it was one thing, it was more like verbal, but this is actually physically. You could have somebody, or you could be the one making a sudden move, okay, within your job, or because the sixth house where you have Taurus is your house of the kind of work that you do, the place you work, your co-workers, your work schedule and all that. Okay, so maybe you're getting another job, maybe you're leaving or quitting wherever it is that you're working now. Maybe that's what you're planning. You've been doing this all along and in secret, you know. You're already in talks with like another employer, or you finally have gone out on your own and created your own business, and you know, something like that. Okay, so this could, like, you know, somebody could kind of like, you know, tell your secret at work, you know, or suspect that you're doing this, or actually know that you are. Something or other, you know, somebody could be trying to find you out. Let's put it that way. And it's a coworker or a boss or somebody that you work with. Okay, so that is enough to like piss anybody off, you know, like it's really their business, right? So I think that you might do something. See, here's the thing about, I believe, about Sagittarians, okay, because if they have anybody who has Sagittarius rising, okay, means that Scorpio is always going to be on the 12th house. So everybody thinks Sagittarians are these like wonderful, loving, and fun people and blah, 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 and we are, okay? However, having Scorpio on the 12th house makes you a really formidable foe, because you're a planner and a schemer. You're not like a loose cannon or whatever, you know. You don't just fly off the handle over anything. You know, you can simmer and in anger secretly for a while, but you're a planner, and you're one of those people that doesn't mind at all serving revenge on a cold dish, okay, or even having to take credit for someone's karma, helping to bring someone's bad karma to them, okay. So I believe that's what makes Sagittarians dangerous, is nobody ever expects them to do these things. But I believe that's something that you might do at this time. You're acting in secret. Mars is there to help you protect yourself, your you know, whatever, what's the word I'm looking for? You, period. Just everything about you, you know, your future moves, you know. Everybody should take the best care of themselves that they can, right? So that's kind of like what this is doing. So you could find out, though, that somebody either ratted you out, or they did something or other, you know, at work, or somebody either that you work with or somebody that you've collaborated on even, with some kind of creative project. Okay, again, having this Venus in your second house along with Pluto and Capricorn, it's going to bring Venus-related things to you, like art and beauty. Okay, so I would say you'd have to be earning a living in that way somewhere in the future, with music or art, or again, you know, maybe you come out with a new fragrance or something or other. But I think that's what's going to happen here, is you could even find out something about someone in secret. And you're not going to, you know, confront them with them, but it is enough to make you want to scream. So it'll be interesting. Okay, anyways, on Thursday, November 18th, Mercury in Scorpio in your 12th house trines Neptune in your 4th house of Pisces. So very nice trine from your 12th house to your 4th house of your personal life and your home life and your family. Okay, having, again, these planets in your 12th house, and especially with Mercury, does make you like a bit of an investigator, where you are trying to find out things in secret, usually, you know. But when it comes to your family or even your childhood, you know, you might be asking relatives or whatever about that, but it looks like you may like learn something about your childhood or your background in some way or other that makes you feel really good about where you came from or how you were raised, or your family, period. Or you could find out something about your home, wherever it is that you live, like the history of your home. That's like actually pretty good. Okay, on Friday, November 19th, Venus in Capricorn in your 2nd house trines Uranus transiting in your 6th house of Taurus. Okay, so, you know, Venus being in Capricorn up until March, it's going to more or less do this aspect at least one more time. Okay, at the same time, it'll be conjuncting Pluto in your 2nd house of money. So I really see some kind of work that you're doing that is beautiful or creative in some way or other, and you are earning a living from it. So especially when planets move into your 1st house, you'll be like the center of attention. So you'll be getting a lot more orders or be in demand or something like that. And whatever it is that you're doing, it's not like something very common. I mean, even if it is a form of art, you know, so anything that you're doing is something that not everybody can do. Okay. So for Capricorn, on Monday, November 15th, the Sun in Scorpio in your 11th house squares Jupiter transiting in your 2nd house of Aquarius. And on Saturday, November 20th, Mercury in Scorpio in your 11th house also squares Jupiter in Aquarius in your 2nd house. So your 11th house is crowded now with all these planets in Scorpio, and this is your house of friends and acquaintances and where you would normally go to hang out. It's socializing in person and also on social media. It's like you're, you know, getting together with people and friends and whatever. But the square to Jupiter in your 2nd house is money house. Of course, these things cost money a lot of times to do. You're not sure if you do want to spend it or if it's worth whatever you're doing. You know what I mean? But you could also have, like, I don't know, a friend, or this is also the house of organizations and groups that you belong to. So you could also either already be part of one of these things or would like to join something like that and just find out that maybe they're just after your money. Maybe that's why they want you in their organization, because they just see you as another, I don't know, patsy for money or something or other. Or that, you know, it could be like a really nice prestigious group though, but you could find out that it's all like a bunch of bullshit. Okay, so why pay for it, right? Pay to belong to something like that. Anyways, on Tuesday, November 16th, the Sun in Scorpio in your 11th house sextiles Pluto transiting in your 1st house of Capricorn. And on Sunday, November 21st, Mercury in Scorpio in your 11th house, also sextiles Pluto in your first house. So you've got some really nice aspects coming from your group of friends, your 11th house, okay, to your first house of your personality, like you, okay? 11th house is also your dreams, hopes, and wishes. So maybe at this time you're like pursuing something like that, and you're asking your friends or having at least one friend help you in some way or other, or even if it's like to introduce you to the right people, or get you to network in some way or other, or meet people that are already doing what it is, like a goal that you would like to reach. So you're, in this case, like your friends, kind of, it's like who you know, one of those kind of things. They're enhancing your personality in some way. Okay, on Wednesday, November 17th, Mars in Scorpio in your 11th house opposes Uranus transiting in Taurus in your 5th house. Okay, these houses are directly across from each other, and Mercury just created this very same aspect like last week. But now we have Mars, very aggressive and physically active planet, kind of. It's very energetic, you know, working against the planet Uranus, which is very unexpected and sudden, okay? Very out there with this, the energy that comes off these planets just kind of explodes everywhere, so you're never really sure what to expect with these two planets together. But they're happening in your 5th house of romance and fun and entertainment. Okay, parties, speculation, stuff like that. Fun, fun, fun. Okay, your 11th house of friends, socializing or whatever. So I'd have to say it's pretty much the same thing with Mercury, the Mercury aspect, but this time it's getting more aggressive because this is Mars actually making physical moves, let's say against, you know, this could be like an old flame just, you know, coming back into the picture, and you like, you know, thinking you were done with them. You know, they could have been like a bit of a stalker type or something, or whatever. You could just like run into them by accident when you're out somewhere, or you know, just maybe even having like some kind of encounter with a friend even that doesn't turn out really well. You know, maybe you could find out that your friend, you know, has been, I don't know, seeing someone you're interested in, like behind your back, even though they knew full well that you had the hots for that person, and whatever, you know, something maybe a little bit shady or whatever that you could find out about one of your friends, or a romantic partner, you know. And again, we're back to maybe the creative collaboration. You know, maybe you're in a group or a band or something like that, and you know, there's always a lot of bands break up because it's really hard to stay in one. You know what I mean? The egos and the personalities is just too much sometimes, and this could be like one of those times. But this is almost like a screaming match. It could start off a little heated, but get into an actually verbal, heated, even come to physical blows, you know. And if that's not the case, it just could be some, you know, jerk on social media, you know, just really getting at you, whatever. You know how people just love to argue on there anyway. So it could be somebody just baiting you even. So on Thursday, November 18th, Mercury in Scorpio in your 11th house trines Neptune transiting in your 3rd house of Pisces. And I would have to say that this is a very nice communication from one of your friends to, like, your 3rd house is, you know, your everyday life and whatever, but it is communication and travel. And this is regular postal mail also, but it's email and text message and voicemail. You know, maybe somebody's even just calling you on this day to invite you to do something, okay, with your friends. On Friday, November 19th, Venus in Capricorn in your first house trines Uranus transiting in your 5th house of Taurus. Okay, so Venus is going to be in your sign until March, beginning of March, so it's going to be here a really long time, and it's probably going to make this aspect again, also along with the conjunction in Pluto in your 1st house. I believe I'm going to make a tape about this. I wasn't going to because I thought I covered it a little bit even, but maybe not enough. Okay, so I'll make a separate tape about this. But anyways, so this is like, I think I even said this in your monthly forecast. This is like having to beat them off with a baseball bat. Okay? People are finding you even more desirable. You're like, romance material right now. But that's the way you're being viewed with this very nice trine from your 1st house, okay, which makes you pretty irresistible having Venus in your 1st house to begin with, right? But making a trine to the unusual planet of Uranus in your 5th house of romance, where anything goes there. You could be attracting all different kinds of people like you've never even encountered before. There's always something a little bit different or unusual about them. Sometimes, though, you could even be like, there could be like a difference in age, someone younger or someone older, or whatever. You could, whatever one you are, but this is like when stuff like that starts, maybe you have already been seeing someone and they just, under this aspect, decide that you're the one for them, And good luck in getting rid of them, because I really don't see, if that's what you wanted, I really see that as being maybe even a bit of a problem, because Venus and Pluto together bring about an obsessive quality, and that's occurring in your 1st house. So you're stuck with it, right? Wouldn't we all like to be stuck with it, right? So for Aquarius, on Monday, November 15th, the Sun in Scorpio in your 10th house squares Jupiter transiting in your 1st house of Aquarius. And on Saturday, November 20th, Mercury in Scorpio in your 10th house squares Jupiter transiting in your 1st house also. Okay, so it's square from the Sun and Mercury from your 10th to your 1st house. Okay, well, your 10th house is your house of your livelihood, your career, and how you're known to the public by reputation, professionally and personally. But it's pretty much like how people view and speak about you publicly, and how they know you, or whatever it is that they know about you. So you're like in the public eye right now, because all these planets are in your 10th house. Square to Jupiter, or any aspect of Jupiter, really isn't all that bad. It means that maybe you are, maybe someone feels that you're reaching a bit too far as your career goes, making plans to, having big plans. Okay, that's what Jupiter does. It makes you think real big. In terms of, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. So it could be something like that, where your colleagues are higher up, or even if you're self-employed, it could be a client that thinks that maybe you are going a little bit overboard in some way or other, but probably not, But this is like in regards to your career, so it's not like a real big deal, because like I said, it's just a square and it's to Jupiter. So all that does is it helps you to like see other possibilities, even if you're talking about them like out loud. It doesn't necessarily mean you're going to do these things, right? So somebody could be taking you maybe seriously when you talk about doing something like, I don't know, it sounds like really out there in regards to your career. Or your reputation, your personal reputation. Okay, on Tuesday, November 16th, the Sun in Scorpio in your 10th house, sextiles Pluto, transiting in your 12th house of Capricorn. And on Sunday, November 21st, Mercury in Scorpio in your 10th house, also sextiles Pluto, transiting in your 12th house of Capricorn, okay? So I've mentioned many times that having Pluto in your 12th house means that you are kind of like the power behind the throne. Okay, you have hidden power. I mean, you're aware of it, but other people aren't, is what it is. Okay, people don't know that whomever has to check with you first before something is done, because you have that much clout or that much pull. Okay, or you're like the last word, more or less, when something happens. And this is just like one of those times, you know, where maybe people are actually starting to acknowledge that, you know, with all these planets in your 10th house of public life. You know, it doesn't always have to be about your career, but your public, how the public knows you. So maybe, you know, someone is like talking or correcting someone, even letting them know that you are the one that it is like pulling the strings, more or less, okay, in regards to anything, okay? Not just your career, but this is like also your personal reputation, okay? On Wednesday, November 17th, Mars in Scorpio in your 10th house opposes Uranus transiting in your 4th house of Taurus. So this transit already occurred between Mercury, like last week. So that was a little different because Mercury was involved. But this is Mars being a very physically aggressive and active, energetic planet against Uranus, which is a very volatile and unpredictable planet. So your 4th house is your personal life and your home life. It's where you actually live, though, and the people you live with, or even if you live alone, it's like it's your home, okay, and the property surrounding it, or apartment, or wherever it is that you live. So something, I don't know, could be happening. Usually, a lot of times, something's happening in your personal life, okay? Like I said, I believe last week with Mercury, that there could be something in your personal life that's being broadcasted out there in public, suddenly coming to light, or something that's really no one's business. And this could be like something like that, one of these times where, you know, this is a conversation possibly, though, that you are having with someone you live with, or a family member. It's somebody close to you, though, pretty much, because, like I said, it is your personal life, your 4th house. And this could be in regards to your job, your career, or your reputation in some way or other. And, you know, it could be something that, I don't know, this person doesn't want you to do for whatever reason, but it could turn into a screaming match of some kind. You know, this is a opposition between your public and personal life. So there's maybe something here, you know, where somebody wants something that's pretty personal about you to come out, or they're threatening to say this or that, or go public with something, you know, something's weird. That's just an example. I'm not saying that that's actually going to happen, but it's just somebody, it seems like, you know, maybe they're even jealous about your career, or I don't know, something that you do, or how people perceive you or accept you, or whatever. You know, they could be, you know, like pretty bent out of shape over it, or, like I said, envious even. And remember, 4th house is also your past. It's your childhood. So this doesn't always have to be like a family matter. This could be somebody, you know, from your past that is like acting up. Okay, on Thursday, November 18th, Mercury in Scorpio in your 10th house trines Neptune transiting in your 2nd house of Pisces. So this is very nice transit from your 10th house of your career, okay, to your 2nd house of how you earn your money. So obviously you're doing something that's bringing in more, you're adding to your income, you know, in some way, like due to your reputation, your professional or even personal reputation. If you don't work at all or you're retired, there's still some way that it's enhancing your ability to bring in more money. Okay, so I have to mention too that when Jupiter leaves your first house, it goes into Pisces, into your second house of money. So that we've got good fortune, good luck, the good luck planet in your house of income. Okay. So on Friday, November 19th, Venus in Capricorn in your 12th house trines Uranus transiting in your 4th house of Taurus. So Venus is going to be in Capricorn up until March, the beginning of March. So it will create this aspect again, and it will also conjunct Pluto in your 12th house more than once. Okay, so you've got a really nice trine coming from your house of behind the scenes actions taken by you or someone else. The house of secrets. Okay, having Venus here means a lot of things. You could even be having a secret romance, a secret affair, or working on something Venus related, like a creative project, like behind the scenes. Or 12th house is also the house of charity and whatever. So you could actually be helping people in some way, but it's a little bit of a secret. It's not something that you feel you have to broadcast to everybody. But this very nice trine from your 12th to your 4th house of your home and family and personal life and whatever, you know, just means that there's, I guess, something going on there that makes you feel more secure about your home, your actual home, or your family, or the people that you live with. It's something that brings, because it's a trine to the planet Uranus, which has brought like some kind of upheaval to your family life. You know, where you live, the people you live with. That's what this planet does, is it shakes up the area wherever it is. So this Venus coming along, though, is like helpful in some way. In fact, it could actually be a person that is helping you. It could be a family member that's helping you behind the scenes in regards to your home or your family, children possibly even. Okay, so for Pisces, on Monday, November 15th, the Sun in Scorpio in your 9th house squares Jupiter transiting in your 12th house of Aquarius. And on Saturday, November 20th, Mercury in Scorpio in your 9th house also squares Jupiter in Aquarius in your 12th house. So maybe something begins, you know, on that Monday and ends up on Saturday. But all these planets in your 9th house of long distance travel and communication, I'd have to say that maybe you had your heart set on maybe even just like a little jaunt somewhere, mini vacation or something or other like that. But square to Jupiter or any aspect of Jupiter is never really bad. But it does kind of sometimes means that you have big plans, you know, you do things in a big way. So a lot of times people say, oh, you went overboard in some way or other. I don't really see that here, you know, because this is happening to your 12th house of secrets and behind the scenes actions. Okay, so, you know, I really don't think something like that is going on, but it looks like maybe you had plans on doing something that you're not going to be able to do right now anyways, and you're not really showing your disapproval or that you're upset about it. Okay, on Tuesday, November 16th, the Sun in Scorpio in your 9th house sextiles Pluto transiting in your 11th house of Capricorn. And on Sunday, November 21st, Mercury in Scorpio in your 9th house also sextiles Pluto in your 11th house, okay, of Capricorn. So your 11th house is your dreams, hopes, and wishes. It's your most sociable house. It's your friends and acquaintances, where you would normally go to hang out. This could be something along those lines. Maybe you did. Maybe you were going to travel or attend some kind of function that you would be like with your friends, you know, because some kind of gathering, or Maybe you were going to join some kind of organization. These sextiles, though, help you do that. Maybe even if it's your friends that are helping you, maybe you're networking even a little bit. But it does look like some kind of, I still want to say travel, but it could be communication if you're not going to travel. More than usual with people who live at a distance or even in another country, because the ninth house is the house of foreign matters, okay, foreign anything. And this is with like friends, okay. You could even, let's say, like get a new friend, at least one, on social media that is from another part of the world. On Wednesday, November 17th, Mars in Scorpio in your ninth house opposes the planet Uranus transiting in your third house of Taurus. So this transit occurred with Mercury last week. Okay, so this may be a bit of a continuation of whatever might have occurred then, but this is Mars we're dealing with here, and Mars is a physical, aggressive, energetic planet. It makes you want to get up and do stuff, okay? The opposition to Uranus, which is very unpredictable and volatile, is kind of causes the energy from both of these planets opposing one another to just burst out all over the place. You really never really know what to expect, okay? Because these are communication and travel houses, both the third and ninth, I'd have to say, if you are traveling, to be really, really careful. You know how I think I might have mentioned, even with Mercury, the nutty people on planes nowadays just flipping out, you know, because all of a sudden they don't want to be on a plane or they don't want to wear a mask, okay? So it could still be something along those lines, except now it's going to get a little physical, okay? Just because it's Mars. It could also be, I think I mentioned, with, you know, receiving some kind of really out there mail, regular postal mail, or a voice message or email or something in regards, let's say, to like a legal matter, because that's also a ninth house thing, okay? And that to not really like take it too seriously, you know, because it would be like kind of bizarre, whatever it was. And this is just like, let's say, the follow-up letter that's a bit more aggressive, you know. And I would still say not to pay too much attention to, because it's just someone, or like, let's say, like a law firm or something like that, just trying to get you to act, respond, do something, okay? Because the minute you do that, oh, you'll never get rid of these people, right? But if you are in some kind of conversation with someone, it could get really, you know, kind of, we're back to like a screaming match, even like the same thing like it was with Mercury, only with this Mars, I think it could be hitting below the belt a little bit more. You know, something or other, you know, some kind of communication or some kind of news. It could even be news of some kind. And they're both of these houses are internet houses, okay? So it could be something that even occurs online, okay? But it could be just like news that is like really baffling or hard to believe, or just kind of low. Like hitting below the belt, a little bit too much already. Okay. Let's see here, on Thursday, November 18th, Mercury in Scorpio in your ninth house trines Neptune transiting in your first house of Pisces. So very nice, very nice. I would say a nice phone call, or some kind of communication from a distance, okay? Or, you know, even somebody in another country just contacting you. Maybe it could be just a because kind of phone call. Or, you know, receiving some kind of letter or a card or something like that. But I really think it's some kind of communication. Could be an email even. But it's you know, again, coming from a long distance. Okay, on Friday, November 19th, Venus in Capricorn in your 11th house trines Uranus transiting in your third house of Taurus. So Venus is going to be in Capricorn up until March, beginning of March, and it will probably make this aspect again, this very nice trine to Uranus in your third house of your everyday life, okay, the places where you would normally go throughout the course of your day. Your 11th house is your house of friends and where you go to hang out, stuff like that, socializing. So Venus trining Uranus brings like very nice and unusual people into your life, kind of on a daily basis. You're surprised by the interesting people that you're meeting, even in like your own area, your own neighborhood, or if you are online, you know, this 11th house social media thing, socializing, you're meeting a lot more people that they're just more interesting than maybe your normal group of friends even. Maybe they're becoming a little bit boring or something, but this Venus will conjunct Pluto here on and off in your 11th house, and you may be mesmerized by someone new, you know, or maybe they're already there, but when this Venus moved here, kind of like, you know, it zapped you, and when you look at this person, you're just like, you know, like I said, mesmerized. So who knows how that could go, you know. You could end up like in a really, I don't know, like fated kind of relationship, okay? So, I hope everyone enjoyed their astrological forecast for this week. Be sure to subscribe to my channel, okay, and like and share this video. It really helps to keep it in circulation, okay, because if I'm not getting out there, then nobody's really seeing it, okay? Well, as much as it should be seen, right? Check out my Ask Me a Question in the description box below. There's also a link to my website. There are some changes going to be going on in my website, some new offers, different things. And check out my monthly forecasts. Okay, so I'll see you next week. Goodbye.